Dad, I was wondering what the Declaration of Independence was and how it was created. I want to know all about it. Well, son, you're asking the right person. To begin, you need to understand that there was a time in history when the American colonists broke away from England and became a separate nation, equal with other nations, like how God had planned all along. He'll tell you why the colonists were forced to declare independence. You and me know that all people are created with equal rights. God made them with rights that cannot be taken away. These include life, political freedom, and economic freedom. To make sure we have these rights, people set up governments to protect these rights. Governments get their powers from the okay of the people. If a government tries to take away people's rights, the people may change or get rid of that government and set up a new government. That government should be based on principles, and its power should be organized so that it protects the safety and happiness of the people. If a government has been around for a long time, we shouldn't change it just because of some little thing or because of something that might change back again in a few years. John Locke stated that it is the right and duty of the people to get rid of an evil government like dictatorship and set up a new government that will protect the rights of people in the future. Wow, that is great, Dad. I'm guessing the King of Great Britain was mean and cruel to the American colonists. Yes, son, here are a few reasons why the colonists were fed up with the king. 1. He required a government tax stamp on all legal documents, such as contracts and licenses, newspaper, almanacs, and even printed sermons and playing cards to have the official stamp. This was called the Stamp Act. He gave customs officers the right to search colonial homes for smuggled goods without a search warrant. This violated the right to privacy in one's house, a cherished right in Britain, called the writs of assistance. He took away self-government. Intolerable acts. He made the colonists provide shelter for the Britain Army. All goods sent to America had to be shipped to England first before, so the ships that were transporting the goods had to pay a heavy tax for everything before they could finish their trip. Tobacco, cotton wool, sugar, indigo, lumber, and rice had to go to England first before they could be sold anywhere else. The only people who had the right to trade with the other colonies had to be British citizens. Parliament put a very large tax on all American tea merchants. The Proclamation of 1763, the King of England passed the Proclamation of 1763, prohibiting settlements past the Appalachian Mountains, in order to keep from having to fight with the Native Americans and to keep the people closer to the eastern seaboard for trading purposes. This king was very disrespectful to all the colonists. Out of all of these laws passed down by the king, which method in your opinion had the greatest impact on the American colonies? The method used by Great Britain that I think had the greatest impact on the American colonies is the Intolerable Act, because the colonists had to give up their self-governing government and follow the British government, which was 300,000 miles across the Atlantic Ocean. This was totally unfair and unreasonable. In my opinion, all of the acts passed down by the king impacted the colonists in a great way. The colonists felt enslaved. They had to follow the rules the British made. The colonists had to provide shelter for the British Army. They taxed them for every paper they mailed, and they took their way of movement away. The colonists were definitely fine without Great Britain. Yes, son, you're absolutely right. We didn't hate Great Britain, we just wanted for the king to be fair. When the king did something wrong, the colonists asked him to correct it, and he only made it worse for us. A king who acts like a tyrant is not fit to rule us. The colonists asked the people of Great Britain to speak out against what Parliament and the king have been doing to us. They didn't even pay attention to us. If there's a war, they'll be our enemies. If there's peace, they'll be our friends. So what happened at the end? How did we declare independence? The colonists broke off from Great Britain after winning in the Revolutionary War. The representatives of the United States, knowing that God is their judge, declared that the colonies were free and independent states. As independent states, we can wage war and agree to peace. We can make alliances with any nation we want and trade with any nation we want. We can set up our own economic system, so no more navigation acts and mercantilism. Each state had its own money and courts and laws. The colonists can depend on God's protection. In support of this declaration we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. And that is all you should know about the Declaration of Independence. Thank you, Daddy Andrew, for helping me get a better understanding about the Declaration of Independence. I love you so much. Project done by Andres Virguez the Dundon.